the first time that I met him, I played a Korn song. I didn't know who he was. I just happened to have a Korn song in my lineup.
Mm.
And he puts on his Korn gear. He's got like a Korn T-shirt and everything. And he just starts going ham, and we're like both drunk, like karaoke singing Korn together. That's one of my favorite moments that it's ever happened in VR chat. That was at TJ's Tavern.
Welcome to Metaverse Degen. I'm lying.
I'm old Rad Raptor, and our guest is. Thank you. Here we go with one of these.
To invoke the spirit of your previous guest a few weeks ago.
The funny thing
Oh my fucking god.
The funny thing is, I accidentally zoomed in the camera the exact moment he did the screech, and boy, was it perfect.
Oh god. Oh wow. Oh wow.
So, who are you, and what do you do in this virtual landscape?
I go by the name BadWolfie. I have been playing VR chat since roughly April, May of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Former club co-owner. I started DJing about a year in, about 8 months into my time in VR chat. Degenerate, alcoholic, raver. My primary focus in VR chat is mostly the club scene, and then I also I really get down on like movie nights and just vibing, drinking nights, shit like that. It's really stuff that I enjoy. Not so big on the I'm not part of like that world hopping crew that goes and explores 27 different worlds in a night. That's just not my vibe. I love just put me in a club, put me on the floor. I'll dance, I'll drink, I'll have fun, talk to my friends. That's me.
Okay.
Wait a minute. I'm just confused here. Do you have full body, or you just try to dance stiffy? I just want to know how that works, because I've tried it and I can never get my ass to wiggle that good.
I do have full body, yes.
Okay, I'm good. Huh?
I had a very long week this week, and I am too sore to strap that shit up today.
It's no problem, man.
Understandable.
Not a problem at all. So you said you DJ. How did you get started with that and owning a club?
So the whole DJ thing was my intro to VR chat was probably not like most people's intro to VR chat. For the stories that I hear, most people's intro to VR chat was, hey, it's free. I got a Quest for Christmas or whatever, or even I was in desktop, and you hear all the stories about, the black cat and the great pug and all that other stuff, Fur Hub, Furry Hangout, and all that other stuff, and that's kind of how people slowly, gradually work their ways into other parts of this world.
Mm-hmm.
For me, my intro to VR chat was a buddy of mine who I used to be in a MilSim unit, which is a military simulator unit for Arma 3, and I was in there for about a decade.
Oh,
And a
wow.
buddy of mine I saw that he played VR chat a lot, and he used to stream it. He would stream like a little podcast with him and his friends in just like we're doing right now.
Oh.
He would do that, and I'm like, oh shit, that looks neat. Oh, and he's also a furry. So me being at the time like supremely closeted, I wanted to try to find like none of my friends were into that shit. So I wanted to find people that were, more like-minded like me.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to find other furries to talk to and hang out with and everything. So I asked him to show me around. And what I didn't know was that he was also a club owner, not for DJs, not for like rave nights and everything, but he was a dance club. He had like exotic dancers.
Ah.
So for him to initiate me, this is my second day in VR chat, mind you. My initiation was an hour and 30 minutes straight of back to back lap dances. That's how I got introduced to the game.
Well, I think that pretty much throws my question out of what I usually ask, but I guess I could still throw it to him. You think I should throw it now or wait until later?
I'd say if it's on the topic, ask it.
Okay. when you did get into VR and everything else like this, what was the weirdest thing? He's already said it pretty much to the zone that you saw in VR and you go, nope, this ain't for me. I'm out of here.
The weirdest thing? Huh.
Yep.
Well, it's funny because like really nobody outside of this community, outside of like the VR chat culture, can really explain it. Like, have you ever seen some shit and you're like, try to, and like you're trying to get somebody who's never played it before into it, and it's like you can't describe a lot of this stuff. Like you just can't. Not that it's like so far out there that it's like it's not that it's so crazy or so ridiculous. It's just like yeah, someone showed up with an Obama avatar and with a soundboard and they were blasting Obama quotes at high volume and blowing my ears out, and it was the funniest shit I've ever seen. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
like they had like the Obama 2D cutout avatar with the Terrence and Phillip from South Park flappy head thing,
Mhm.
Oh,
and whatever.
God.
Like, or try to explain to somebody the whole Knuckles thing when the Knuckles pandemic thing was going on. It's like
Oh,
you
God.
can't do it. You have to like watch it to. But so the weirdest thing, I don't know, weirdest thing. I don't know. I've heard. I'll say this. I attend a lot of loot events. I've heard some really weird shit said to people by people to people with the expectation of getting sexual gratification from it, and I'm like, bro. Okay. I mean,
Mm.
whatever floats your boat, but
I definitely
it ain't floating mine.
I definitely can understand that. And to the thing you said earlier, where the whole it's hard to explain to people outside VR. Sometimes when explaining what I do here in VR to people, I feel like I'm the conspiracy theorist with like red lines every which way pointing to a map, going, there's this thing, and these people know these people, and I feel like I'm trying to explain a conspiracy like some madman.
Yeah, I did want to let me get back to your
Oh yeah,
original
yeah,
question.
fair.
Was how did I get into the DJ thing?
Mm,
So the day after that, my chaperone introduces me to a club called Cyber Radiation, right?
mm,
And they have since rebranded. They're now Bifrost, which is the club that's on my back. And um, at the time, I was like the token furry. I really was. It's
mm,
like I would go to. They're really nice people. I really enjoyed hanging out with them. Um, there was like one or two furries in that community, but I showed up to like every event, and I really enjoyed my time there.
mm.
And I became friends with their head DJ, who was Chaotic. I don't know if you might have met him. I'm sure you've seen him at an event once or twice, DJ Chaotic.
Mm.
Um, but I got close to Chaotic, and I became interested. I've always been interested in like wanting to even go way back. I mean, you talk about you being old. I mean, I know I'm not quite as old as you, but I go way back to like I used to make mixtapes with my fucking boombox. I'd record songs off the radio,
Oh,
and like
wow.
and then I'd make a mixtape out of it. And that was when I was like 11, 12 years old. And then once I got a computer, I started burning mix CDs and everything. So I've always enjoyed the idea of building something for somebody else to enjoy music wise. I'm not a musician by any means.
Mm.
I never really learned how to play an instrument. I played drums in high school, but that's about it. But I've always liked constructing something that other people enjoy. So one day I get my hands on some software called Mixpad,
Mhm.
and um, I start I start yoinking tracks off of YouTube. And I put together a couple of sets, like 30 minutes ish. They're all studio sets. They were garbage. They didn't have any transitions. They were just like one track. It was basically like a Spotify playlist, right?
Mm.
But they gave me a shot at Cyber Radiation. They gave me a shot. They put me on a couple of events, and um, it was super primitive. I had to use SoundPad because I didn't have the means to stream it at the time. So I had to go to a world that had an amplifier and stand in the spot and then turn my SoundPad on and then play the music. Um, After about a month of that, I figured out how to. I started making more. I started making better sets. Basically, these were all pre-recorded. Don't get me wrong, but they were better. I would take tracks and kind of cut here, paste here, move shit together, move shit around, and just it would generate, like, if you ever listen to like Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd, that whole CD is one long track basically.
Mm.
That's what I was going for. So I'd make a set that's an hour long, and it would be one long, like, uninterrupted flow, where there would be shifts and BPMs and everything, but I would, blend them, and I started getting better and better at it. Um, and then finally one day, I don't know if you remember Club Lit, but Lit gave me a shot,
Hmm.
and that was like the first like major club that ever gave me an opportunity. I started playing sets for Lit, and Lit was great because it was 7 days a week, and unless you had like unless they had a specific themed night, you could play whatever you wanted.
Mm.
So I'd be playing for Lit like 4 nights a week. Just put your name in and you sign up and you're good to go. Kind of similar to how Cannon Cove does it. And I loved it. I loved doing it. I would make more and more. I was cranking out like 2-3 sets a week. Um, and I got hooked. I'm still hooked. I love doing sets. People hit me up. Hey, can you play? Absolutely. I don't give a shit if it's one person, 10 people, 100 people. I love playing for people and just putting my
Mm.
stuff together. That's how I got started. If you want to go into, further down the line, we can do that. But I'm not sure if that's where you want to segue now. If you want to maybe talk about something else first.
Oh, nope. This entire thing is we're talking about you. So if you wish to go into the rest, we'd love to hear the whole story.
Okay, I can do
Yeah,
that.
just let it ride.
The rest happened kind of quickly. So you figure that's around like August, September of 2021.
Mm.
Um, so Cyber Radiation did a New Year's party. I played for that. That was a lot of fun. And then for the first like 8 months of 2022, I was still doing the same thing. It was all studio sets. But I just kept making more and more of them. I get introduced to like right around Christmas time, 2021. Tina from TJ's Tavern
Mhm.
pops in on one of my sets, and um, I don't know how it happened. I think she joined off of somebody that was attending, and she stuck around. I um I get a DM from her a couple of days later, like, "Hey, would you be interested in playing at TJ's Tavern?" So at the time, I was playing for Cyber Radiation. I was playing for Lit. Also, but Cyber Radiation was also friends with Degen, so I got to meet Millie and um uh oh crap, names are escaping me. It's been so long. Oh, Marky Mark and all them at Degen, and I started playing for Degen pretty regularly.
Mm.
So I had Degen, Lit, and Cyber Radiation. Those were like my three big ones.
Mm.
And then about halfway through, um, like halfway into 2022, I started playing shows for Tina. Now Tina does Throwback Thursdays every Thursday.
Mm.
And each Thursday it's a different theme. One night it's a hip hop theme, one night it's a rock, alt metal, whatever, right? And that's when I discovered I could do like throwback sets, and I do a lot of rock and metal and emo and all that other stuff. And I started playing regularly for TJ's Tavern. While doing that, Numbface, who you interviewed a few weeks back, is friends with Tina. He comes to one of my throwback sets, and he's like, "Bro, you got to play for Cannon Cove. You got to play Metal Monday. This is fantastic. We want to have you." I'm calling him out. I tease him for this all the time. He never actually made that introduction. He was just really drunk that night and then forgot about
Oh.
it. So, but
Wow. Hey,
but
what was
he
on your drinking list? I don't know. I'm playing this one all night long. I hope you enjoy it.
but he definitely put that bug in my ear.
Mm.
And I heard he drops the name Cannon Cove. Okay, fine. I look up Cannon Cove. I introduce myself to Man Cannon. I'm like, "Hey, Man Cannon, you have I see you do Sinful Sundays and you do your Demonic Mondays. I would love to do a Demonic Monday if you don't, if that's okay. I really enjoy, playing. I really enjoy playing metal. I like, introducing people to maybe songs that they've never heard before. And to be honest with you, it's a nice change of pace from the usual club scene, which is, EDM, and there's a lot of, rhythm and tear out and
Mm.
drum and bass and everything. So he's like, absolutely, I'd love to have you. So I play a Metal Monday, and it goes off without a hitch. I have a great time. So now I have, you know, 4 or 5 clubs under my belt that are ready and willing to offer me a spot whenever I'd like one. I'm still doing studio mixes. I'm not mixing live yet, but I'm spending a lot of time accumulating tracks, exposing myself to new music and exposing myself to, shit that I like and to build. So, right around my birthday is in August, right? So, August of 2022, a buddy of mine at the time, Adidas, is their name on my hat. We we were pretty tight at the time. They sent me as a birthday present. They sent me a DJ controller, a DDJ 400,
Oh wow.
and it's like the one of the best birthday presents I could ever possibly ask for. And I'm like in tears. Here's the thing though. I don't know how to fucking mix live, right? I don't know what I'm doing. You look at this thing, it's like there's a million knobs on it, there's a bunch of buttons on it. What the hell is this, right? So for August, like from August all the way to basically January, I am terrified to touch this thing. It's collecting dust, right? It's not doing it. I'm not plugging it in. I'm not taking it out. I don't even want to look at it. I'm terrified. That's something a lot of DJs might not admit to. Stage fright is a motherfucker, and I get it, and I get it bad. I got stage fright doing this interview right now. That's why I can't shut up. But
don't worry about it. You're doing fantastic. With
you're doing great,
with this
Wolf.
interview, think of it as we're just trying to get to know you. We don't want
okay,
to.
that's
We
fair. That's
we
fair.
do not wish to put you in a certain light. We're not here to set you up. We just want to get to know you as a person, and the audience is just here with us. That's the way
Yeah,
I view
fair
it.
enough.
So don't think of it as some big horrible thing. Quite literally, Raptor and I are just digging into you and who you are and how'd you get to where you are and stuff of all of that nature. Think of it like you're having a drink with us and talking about yourself.
Right, that's fair. That's fair. Well, I'll tell you what the final thing was. The main thing that got me into live mixing was I'm doing a Metal Monday set one night, and I forgot their name, but one of the bookers for DDVR comes up to me, and they're like, "Bro, this is fantastic. I love this. You should play for DDVR one day." I was like, "Okay, I'd love to." They hooked me up with one of the people that books the DJs for DDVR, and we're talking like, yeah, absolutely, love to have you. But I tell them, look, I do pre-recorded sets. Is that okay? Like, ooh, no, we only do live DJs here. Sorry. So when you start live mixing, come back and talk to me. And that kind of lit a fire under me because I'm like, DDVR is one of the oldest communities in VRChat, and what a humbling experience it would be for me to actually be able to perform there alongside, whoever else they deem worthy to play that night. So I said, fuck it, and I started practicing, and then like mid January of last year of this year, mid January of this year, I get my first live set. And when I tell you that I was ready to like quit my life, I was ready to quit my life. I was terrified. My buddy Ike Wolf, who was at the Red Bear Isle event that you were at with me when Doc brought you in, he's like, don't worry about it, don't worry, just trust me, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. But who I really, really have to give credit to is Anais. Anais comes to me. I DM Anais. Now, me and Anais have been buddies for a while now. He's a regular at TJ's Tavern. He's a super, super, super friendly guy. I know you guys have interviewed him. I love Anais. He's fantastic.
We actually talk with Anais fairly regularly. I consider him a good friend at this point. Up until like his current work schedule stuff, we're always chatting with him either in Discord or whatnot. He's really an amazing person, really sweet.
He's a really amazing person. Yes, and he's also a very, very talented DJ. The guy knows his shit. And I'm telling him, I'm like, dude, I'm having a panic attack right now. He's like, Wolfie, just listen. He calls me on Discord. He's like, listen. Do not worry about this shit. Like, you cannot worry about it. I've been doing this he's been doing it for like 30 years or whatever, 20, whatever, however many years he's been DJing. And he's like, let me tell you something. You're third in the lineup. You're already 3 hours into the event. I guarantee you half the audience is drunk. And they don't give a shit. The audience doesn't care if you fuck up. The only person that cares if you fuck up is you. So don't worry about it. Because if you if you make a little hiccup or miss a transition or you do something stupid, you be 8 seconds into the next song and nobody's gonna remember it because they're already all fucked up and drunk and they're having a good time. They don't care, right? No one's critiquing you on this. The only person that is critiquing you is you. Do not let yourself ruin the only chance that you have to do something that you enjoy.
Mm,
And he really calmed me down. He really calmed me down. And
that's
I
good
do my first
advice.
live set, and it was okay. I don't brag about shit. It was an okay set. I made a few mistakes. Of course, it's my first live set. I'm gonna make mistakes.
Mm,
Um, but the feeling that I got from that, of the relief of that wasn't that bad. You know what I mean? Like when you're
yeah.
afraid to do something and you're just building it up in your head and building it up in your head, and then you finally do it, and it's like it wasn't really that bad. Like what the hell was I so afraid of?
Mm,
You know. But that was it. Once I started live mixing, I couldn't go back. I couldn't go back to doing. I tried to make a studio. I made a studio mix because when you apply for Virality, you have to make a pre-recorded set.
oh.
I forgot how to. I forgot how to do it because I hadn't done it in so long. Like I
Mm,
forgot how to pre-record a set. But yeah, if you ever apply for if you're DJing for Virality, you have to present them with a pre-recorded set, either a set that you've already done or a set that you built yourself or whatever. Can't do it live.
mm,
Um. So you fast forward a bit from January of this year, right around last year, right around the same time as my birthday, a former partner of mine, he proposes that we start a club, and I'm sure I'd love to, and he's like, we'll call it Club Howler. It's a fur club, and I'm like, yes, please, because we don't really have a lot of representation in the scene. We have like guests and DJs and everything, yes, but actual clubs that are dedicated just for the purpose of, hey, this is a fur. It's not exclusively a fur club. Anybody's welcome, but this is a place where furs can come and feel safe, like welcome and not feel like they're the odd ones out.
mm.
Um, and we did that for a long time. We did that for shit. We did that for over a year, all the way up until about September of this year. And then I won't go into it, but basically, we had our differences and we kind of parted ways, and I kind of removed myself from that community.
Mm,
Nothing bad on the community's part. Not they didn't do anything wrong. Just me and the owner kind of butted heads a little bit, and it was time. It didn't work out. So I'm like, I'll go my way. So ever since September of this year, I've been kind of a sort of a free agent, just hopping around, doing shows, going to events. Ike, I've been helping Ike a lot. I play at most of his events when he has one. If he does a pop up, I try to be there for him. I still play Cannon Cove. I still play most Sundays and most Mondays. I still play DDVR occasionally. I got promoted from Wednesdays to Saturdays. Wednesdays is exclusively for new people. Saturdays is for the veteran DJs. I get to play on Saturdays there now.
Oh, congrats.
But yeah, yeah, thank you. But
Nice one.
that's kind of my DJ journey, so to speak.
Hmm.
There's more details in there, but it'll take 3 hours to explain everything.
Oh no, 3 hours of getting
Yeah,
to know
hours.
you in video. How terrible.
Let's keep it to the broad strokes.
Oh.
So during this process, what were some of the things that stuck with you in the learning of like DJing, making sets, and doing clubs?
Well, as far as okay, well, one thing at a time here. As far as DJing and making sets, I got a lot of good advice from several very, very talented DJs that know their shit. So like
Mm,
Anais, from Lit, you got Rocket VR. He's really, really good. He's a really, really good drum and bass DJ. From Chaotic, he taught me a lot about the software that I'm using, how to use it, what to do with it. From Adidas, they taught me how to use Rekordbox. Uh, Essentially, like Filthy G, another fellow mid-tempo DJ. They are fantastic. Love them,
mm,
love them, love them, love them. Taught me they're super, super smart when it comes to how how to build a set and how to make a set flow and everything. So basically soliciting advice from other people that have been doing this longer than me and that know their shit. I'm never too like egotistical to admit that I will always welcome advice and I will always, I make it a point to be humble, stay humble, and all that shit. Um, that's as far as the whole DJ side of things goes.
Yeah.
When it comes to what I've learned, anyways, when it comes to building a community, running a club, getting your numbers up, you just got to be consistent. You got to show up to the events. You got to talk to people. You got to do your rounds. If you're the host, be the host. Go talk to people. Don't just put yourself in a corner. Get your name out there. Get the club's name out there. Have exposure. Share it on Twitter. Talk to people. Do not be you got to be sociable. Like, and I get that that's hard for people. It's hard for me. I do get antisocial nonsense sometimes, and I get real quiet. But at the end of the day, if you want growth, it's people, man. Just talk to them. Present a friendly and welcoming environment. Be a friendly and welcoming person. Listen to people. Listen to their shit. Find out what you have in common. Oh yeah, I talked to the host. He was a real cool guy. We should go back there next week. Whatever. The word of mouth spreads, and the numbers will accumulate the way that you want them to. I mean, there were nights where we were like, I would just throw like a random birthday party for somebody, and we'd max out. No one even knows who this person is, but it's like, it's our event. It's got our name on it, so people come.
Yeah.
And I think the bottom line is, and this applies to just about anything, like anybody trying to achieve anything on any social level in this game, just it's real easy. Just don't be an asshole. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put it. Don't be a piece of shit. Like, it's.
I got a question. I got a question for him, Line.
Shoot.
Okay, I'm just saying, just gonna ask you, if I walked up to you, Bad Wolf, and everything else like this, I've never seen you work or anything like this, and I was interested in what you're doing. What would you give me advice and stuff like this if I asked you, how can I get where you're at, and and everything else like this? What advice would you give me as a person new on the floor that wants to try what you're doing and everything else like this?
If you're interested, like, you mean in the sense of like interested in being like DJing or like performing?
Yeah, DJ, not clubbing, just the DJ part of it and everything else like this.
Well, I do run into that sometimes. Where like I'll be like a Cannon Cove and somebody be like, "Oh man, how do I get up there?" Not hard. For at least for the events that I frequent, there's not really a whole lot of a screening process. Usually, the screening process is like one of us will listen to your set somewhere, and we like it. You know what I mean? But if you're like, say, brand new, right? Never played a set before, right?
That's what I'm getting at. Brand new. Don't have a squat, a brain pop, fart, whatever the deal is. I have no idea how to even fucking turn the thing on and get it to work. And boy, do I ever hear that a lot. Yeah, that situation.
Well, if you're talking to me about that, basically I'd try to get you started as best I could. If you have a general idea of what it is that you want to do, I'd basically say, okay, well, here's how you get music. Here's how you like a prime example would be my my partner Akari, right? He DJs now. Now he doesn't have any hardware, but he does it through software, through Virtual DJ, right? So he didn't have a lick of a clue how to even where to get started, right? So I introduced him to Virtual DJ, which is free, and I said, okay, here's this. Get yourself some music, and then start plugging. Here's what you do: start plugging the music in, and play it. And what you're looking for, you'll learn how to match BPMs and everything. Essentially, what you want to have a good grasp on is, this is what I would tell you: get Virtual DJ, because if you don't want to, obviously this is not something that you want to spend money on if you don't even know if it's something that you're going to want to do. So I'm giving you the free route to kind of get you started. You get Virtual DJ. I'd show you how to get some music, and basically what you want to focus on. Doesn't matter what else you're doing, as long as you understand how to match BPMs and do proper transitions. The sky's the limit. because that's really all that matters at the end of the day. Is you don't want some janky set. I'm sure you guys have been to your fair share of sets where maybe the DJ didn't, or maybe like I've done it where like I'm just wasted and I'm not paying attention and I fuck up and it janks out the whole set and it ruins the it ruins the flow. You want to have consistent BPM. You want to know when to shift. You want to know when to transition. If you can handle that's such basic fundamental, like don't worry about the fancy stuff. Don't worry about looping or scratching or your filters or your highs, your mids, your lows. Don't worry about any of that. Learn how to transition one song into another song, and you're golden.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like it's like if you want to like be a professional baseball player, learn how to hey, can you catch a ball? Okay, that's where you need to start. Can you catch a ball?
Mm. That's
I
some
gotcha.
that's some really good advice for to start. And I do that that is some pretty good insight that you don't need to spend money, because from a lot of people we've talked to, a lot of there are some people out there that waited till they got the DJ controller that could be really expensive, and they wanted to go that route.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
hearing this is
It's not
free.
cheap. It's not a cheap hobby. It's not at all. I mean, just like being a VR enthusiast, that shit ain't cheap either. You
No.
know what I mean? Like I started slow. You know, I got a Quest 2. That's all I had for a long time was just my Quest 2. I got the virtual PC set up and everything. So it's wireless. You know, and then eventually my partner Akari for for his birthday, he sent me a full body tracking setup because he had a spare one.
Mm.
He sent me full body for his birthday so that I could like dance and stuff with him in full body on his birthday.
Oh.
So his birthday
Oh,
present was
that's
sending me like
cool.
was his birthday present was sending me like $300 worth of shit.
Wow.
Wow, that
That's
was
really
nice.
sweet of
Wow,
them to do for you.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
Hmm. So you said after you got into sets, you applied for Virality. Did you end up playing for them?
No. No, I've applied to perform at every virality since 2021.
Hmm.
It's a tough nut to crack. It's a very tough nut to crack. I'm a mid-tempo DJ. There is one mid-tempo DJ. If you go back through Virality schedule, it's Kuraksa. He's the mid-tempo DJ. He's the one that gets to always play the mid-tempo things.
Hmm.
Um, and every time I try to submit my set, they're like, "Well, it's not quite what we're looking for. You know, it's not. You did. It doesn't sound like. All right, guys. All right, cool. It's difficult. It's hard to get in there,
Hmm.
and that's kind of like a Mount Everest thing for me. It's on my bucket list, but I don't. I being realistic, I don't think it's ever gonna happen.
Hmm. Well, you never know. It could always happen. Consistency and keep on doing what you're doing, and you may catch someone's eye eventually, and you may play there. You just got to keep at it. Have faith. Keep doing it. As you said,
Yeah,
consistency.
yeah.
Hmm. So, with when you were running a club, what were some of the things that you picked up easily, and some of the things that were hard for you to pick up, like running your first club?
Sure. Easily would definitely be booking DJs.
Hmm.
I already knew a ton of DJs at the time. A ton. I still do. The whole thing about don't be an asshole. Yeah, if you're nice to people, they'll come. They'll if you know what I mean. If you if you're not
Hmm.
a if you're someone that wants to a person that people want to be around with and hang out with and everything. It's not hard to find people to play for you. So I have a fair share. I have my fair share of DJ friends that I can rely upon. Um, that's the easy part for me. The hard part is building up your numbers, man. The hard part is because don't get me wrong, we've had weeks. I've had weeks, and I'm no stranger to this. I've had weeks where we've had an entire 5-hour event and we never broke 10 people.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we never went above 10. That can be discouraging, but at the end of the day, it's like who cares? Like are the 10 people that are here people that you want to hang out with? Cool, then hang out with them. Have fun. Don't worry about don't focus on that shit because it's just going to
Hmm.
burn you out and you're just going to get discouraged. You're going to feel like you're making zero progress when in reality you're as long every week you want to try to make more connections, make more contacts, meet new people. Okay, well that didn't work. Let's try something else. Will this work? This outreach didn't work. Let's try this outreach.
Hmm.
Let me drop a and if you are any advice to anybody trying to do anything in the club scene, like build their own community. I cannot stress this enough. Go on Party Hub. Get registered on Party Hub. Talk to Captain Duck. Get registered on Party Hub because that is free advertising every week.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, we've heard Party Hub mentioned a few times as well. How good of a resource is that for the DJing and clubbing community?
It's fantastic. Basically, essentially, what it is it comes down to it's a Discord server that has hundreds of individual channels, and each channel represents a club
Hmm.
that has gone through the screening process and gotten registered on Party Hub. So once you're there, let's say you want to make a so you see posters and advertisings for events and everything. Um, you make a poster or flyer, whatever you want to call it,
Hmm.
and make sure that it has your lineup. Make sure that it has, if you're in a group, what the group link to your because it's different now because there's groups now. Or it has like the name of the VRC name of the host or whoever it is that you're supposed to be joining off of.
Hmm.
And what happens is when they link your club server to you have a channel in your club server that makes announcements. They link it to Party Hub. Once you make an announcement, that gets replicated to Party Hub. And then Captain Duck will go and take that poster, your flyer or whatever, and put it on Duck's Daily Roundup. Now, Duck's Daily Roundup is something that gets broadcast everywhere. Like almost every club has their own channel for Duck's Daily Roundup.
Oh
And that's
wow.
where basically all of the clubs that are mentioned, whatever events they have, they all get filtered into one channel. So you can go there right now. I guarantee you it's a Friday night. I guarantee you there's like 40 or 50 posters there just for tonight, for events that are happening tonight.
Oh wow.
So that is a great way to get your name out there. So we had posters that were, very like furry oriented. So it's, that's so as a furry, it's like, oh, look at this howler. Wow, this is, you know,
Hmm.
these is where furries hang out. This is where I want to go. That was the idea.
Yeah. Hmm. Wow. It's good to know there are resources out there for people, like Duck's Daily Roundup and Party Hub and so on. I've heard a lot about that Party Hub and Duck, and it seems like Duck puts in a lot of work for that.
He
For
does. Duck busts his ass. If you ever meet him, I'd love to. Maybe I could introduce you to him one day. I'd love for
mm.
Duck is one of the funniest fucking people. He's hilarious. Like he's one of the funniest people you're ever gonna meet in your life, especially when he's had a few drinks on him.
Yeah. Well, we love to speak with
Wow.
everyone here in VR Chat, and Duck and everyone else a part of VR Chat is also invited. Fortunately, is with us, there's only so many days in a week in Rodopia shit, and I'm for it. So,
Yeah,
I'll I would love to speak with everybody. So there's that.
yeah, fair enough.
Hmm. So now, what with some of those issues, like you mentioned, getting people in the club, how did you surpass and get past that hurdle?
Just tough, like for lack of a better expression, just toughing it out. Just week after week, consistency, really. Just week
Mm.
after week after week. Doing the events, not canceling them, not leaving early. Just do them. Book the DJs. Make sure that they get their time. The DJs, because that word of mouth gets out by DJs too. While I played for this club, it was awesome. They were so nice to me. They took care of me. Wasn't a big audience, but the staff was there. They were up front. They supported me. Like that's why we as DJs. That's why I can't speak for all of us, but like me personally, it's the same reason why do stand-ups like perform comedians like comedy because
Mm.
it's a high because it's one of the biggest hits you're ever gonna get knowing that you're actually like you play a track and you watch the fucking crowd go insane
Mm.
like that is a hit like that's a hit like heroin's never gonna accomplish, you know what I mean? Like that is it's such a brain hit that that dopamine just surges through your body. It's fantastic. That being said, to answer your question, I like just hammer it out. Just
Mm.
don't have a good staff. Security really isn't a problem anymore like it used to be
Mm.
because you have group permissions and everything, and you can whitelist people now, and you can blacklist people from your events and everything through groups. But having good security is good. We had a really good security guy, my buddy Hammersmain, who would he'd hang out with us and party and everything. But if he heard some shit going on, like an argument or a fight or whatever, he'd go over and address it, and just be on top of that.
Mm.
You don't want to be dictator. You don't want to be dictators, but you can't let certain things slide either. There has to be some hard rules. I can't stress enough how important it is. I would say just make your club an 18 plus. There's alcohol being consumed. There's adult talk happening. Not necessarily lewd or inappropriate, but definitely grown up talk.
Mm.
You don't want kids there. You don't want some 16-year-old showing up. Just no, like bro, sorry, come back in 2 years.
Yeah.
Um, and plus, most grown-ups don't want to hang out with kids. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Anyways, like it's not.
Well, from what I hear in some of the coming updates, there should be a pretty good resource. I'm not sure how they'll incorporate it, but if you're under the age of 18, 17, somewhere in that area, VRChat's having it so certain worlds with certain tags will not be visitable by people who are not of age, like gore, lewd, horror, things like that with those tags in them
Yeah,
will be barred from kids, children, and teens
yeah.
from
You can
seeing.
age. You can age gate. Yeah, you can age gate. Yeah, yeah.
So at least there's
Which
that option. You
yeah.
no longer have to wonder, is this person 17? Because at least here soon that shouldn't be a problem anymore. Maybe, depending how they incorporate it and how they tell if they're under the age of 18 or not. It could be honor based. I don't know if they actually want to get people's IDs. I don't know how that's going to work. How did you guys deal with the kiddos in your club, may I ask? Started to dive into the
We
problem stuff, but for
Well,
the
I mean, for
conversation.
us, and this is for me. Yeah, that's fine. For me personally, it was a matter of you take people at face value,
Mm,
until basically you trust people until they give you a reason not to.
mm,
Um, I'm not automatically suspicious of people. I'm very trusting of people until something happens that kind of sets off my radar.
okay.
Sometimes people have it in their bios. I'm 16, I'm 17, whatever, and I'm like, bro, you gotta go, and I, gotta kick them out.
Mm,
Um, but then sometimes you find out later, like, hey, this person's voice is kind of, it's like you can't
yeah.
be sure. Just keep an eye on them. Make sure they're not doing nothing. And then sometimes you can't. Like mutes. What the hell are you gonna do about a mute?
Yeah.
You can't. We did have age verification, but not for our rave nights. Like anybody could come to our rave nights as long as you were 18 plus, but we didn't verify. So we did have people that were age verified that showed their IDs in the Discord server, and they got a certain tag, and then those people were added to a certain group. So if we had like a 18 plus, like a NSFW event, those people were allowed to join the event. Groups kind of solved that problem for us.
Mm, that makes a lot of sense. Having a private group that you'd age verify to get into and run events through that age verified group. That makes a whole lot of
Correct.
sense. No,
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hi, folks. You folks come and join us on our social and on our Discord. We would love to see you there. We have a Patreon, and we have two people that have signed on, Training Fangs and Zero. And I hope we get to see you there, folks. We appreciate the time and effort that you make. And my ball's getting out of here because it needs new rubber. Bye.
are there any like I don't say legal barriers or not or anything like that for like you as a community checking people's IDs and how do you do that with you?
No, there's no. I mean, obviously, I mean, it's kind of, doxing is not a good thing, and we don't
Mm,
encourage that, obviously, or we didn't encourage. I'm saying past tense. So basically, what we used to encourage was, okay, all we need is, we need to see your face, show me your ID, got your face on it, and your date of birth. You can black all that other shit out if you want.
mm,
We need to see your face, that this is you, this is who you say you are, and this is your date of birth. Short of like show me your birth certificate, like that's really the only thing that we can do.
mm,
Um, and if people are willing to do that, and I understand a lot of people aren't willing to do that, they're not comfortable doing that. That's fine, but just so you know, you can't come to our NSFW events. It's not You're not restricted from coming from the rave nights or anything like that. But when it comes to adult stuff, it's like we need to know that you're at least the age of 18. I don't care what the laws are in your country. I don't care what the age of consent is in Norway or friggin' Sweden or whatever. I don't care. 18. 18 plus is a universal number that everybody can agree upon.
Yeah. Well, I'm personally surprised that VRChat hasn't come up with better ways to age verify and separate adults from children, because this is an internet platform like any other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know. Well, it's linked. If I'm not mistaken, it's still linked to like your Facebook account. So, I mean, if the kid in Facebook's age is 13 minimum, so I mean, if you're a kid following the rules and you link your, 13-year-old or 14-year-old Facebook account, that is a way for it to know that like, hey, I'm of a certain age. But I guess there really isn't a way to. It's a tricky problem because there's really no way to like stop somebody from kind of just lying and getting around it.
Yeah.
Now, once they're in the world and they start talking, it's like, okay, yeah, okay, goodbye. Like you're not, you're
Yeah.
a kid. You need to go.
Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. And that kind of leads me to our next question. Is security an important part of running a club?
It is, but it's not as crazy as it used to be. With VR, now don't get me wrong, people still get around it. They always will. But when EAC got introduced, that kind of wiped the slate clean for mods, for modders and stuff. To which I used to be one of them. I use a lot of mods, but the mods that I use are ones that are now in the game, like earmuffs and the avatar culling, um, the text box typing. Like that's all in the game now, which should have been in the game years ago. But whatever, that's a whole separate thing. Um, so you used to have to use mods to like counter the mods that like rippers and hackers and crashers were using. Um, Now those people still exist. You can still make a avatar in Unity that just breaks the game when somebody loads into it. Um, the way that I look at it is this: the first time I went to Furry, there's an intro video, and it explains to you what your ideal security settings should be. Right? So you go and you go to your security settings, and there's 5 boxes like visitor, user, known, trusted, friend. I think those are the 5 boxes. Just basically turn everything off for everything that's below friend, right? Even
Yeah.
trusted users don't matter. Just turn everything off except like the bare minimum basic avatars, like their voices, right? That'll save you a huge. That'll give you a huge save on your performance, your frame rate, and everything. And um, there's a chance that that avatar won't load in with the thing on it that's gonna break your computer. It's gonna crash your client. You know what I mean? Um, but you hear complaints about frame rates and all this other stuff. No, I get it. I don't have the best computer in the world. My computer's, I got like a 2080 Ti. I got like a eighth gen i7. It's not, it's like 5 years old. It's hardware at this point. But I don't really have a lot of issues, even when I'm in full body. The only time I have a problem is if it's a full house and me being a DJ and me being a host. I'm friends with probably everybody in that room. So you got 80 avatars that are being shown, and
Yeah.
I'm down to like 2 frames per second. I have to turn that off. I have to like just crank that all the way down. I have to, otherwise I can't. Wearing a VR headset 2 frames per second, you're just asking for a migraine.
Yeah. I can definitely get that. To be fair, also, it's not like trusteds have optimized avatars over a certain period of time. It's like most trusted users tend to have poor, very poor avatars unless they specifically wear them for clubbing. Like they'll have specific,
Right.
because some clubs will require good or better avatars, and they'll use that as their main because they're there. But most trusted you
Yep.
find in VRChat, no, avatars are pretty heavy.
Yep. Well, this one I'm wearing is pretty beefy. It definitely falls in the very very poor category, but it's again, it's not crazy. It's not going to break anybody's computer. And then I have a couple of greens that I use, like if I'm DJing and I'm in desktop. It doesn't matter what I'm wearing, right? Because no one. I'm not interacting with anything. I'm
Mm.
in desktop and I'm standing behind the deck, so it doesn't matter. So I just wear a green avatar, or if the instance requires a green avatar, I have a couple of those.
Yeah. So the a lot of the things you mentioned in the security, like for example the security settings, that makes a whole lot of sense as well for a lot of people. It's not in a lot of those large group instances, it's good to have those settings on anyway, even if you're not in a club. Even if you're like a black hat or a drinking night, it makes sense because you have a whole bunch of
Yep.
players with some various types of avatars with various stats. So a lot of those things is gonna, even if you have a good PC, unless you got some beefy 4090 Ti crazy bullshit, it's gonna weigh down on your PC's memory and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, what have been some of your favorite experiences and memories during your DJing and owning a club that stand out to you?
Favorite memories? I'll tell you what. Can you buy me like 30 seconds? I got really bad cotton mouth. Can I take a sip of water before I answer your question?
Sure, go right ahead.
Yeah, take a drink,
Okay.
man. No
Yeah,
problem.
thanks.
You know,
30 seconds. What can we do in 30 seconds?
I could tell you one of my favorite memories from clubbing. At least I've never DJed or owned a club, but one of my favorite personal memories I've been in is one of my friends in VR brought me to a furry club, whom I didn't know very well. He's like, Line, you got to get in here. You got to get in here. And so I go into the club, and then there's a DJ up on the booth playing music. Everyone's dancing, having fun, and the vent ends, and we're all still hanging out. And then things devolve to some massive fur pile, I guess is a word for it, a moving mass of noise and ecstasy, I guess is the way to put it. And my first was, what the fuck is going on? Where did you bring me? I had no idea. I didn't know what I was walking into. I thought it was just music and hanging out, not music, hanging out, and exercise.
That's what That's what happens when you don't read between the lines and read the fine print. Okay, don't sign your name until you read the shit. Okay, that's what Mama always says.
The funny thing is I don't remember the club or the world, but I do remember when I read the description of the world, it did not say anything about any of that. No idea. I don't think I was even warned. And my friend, who, I don't know if you watch this or not, but I guarantee you'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But yeah, that was one of my favorite memories. It's just kind of accidentally being dragged into a club world that devolves to orgies after the music rave is done.
Oh yeah, plenty of those going around, man.
Yeah. Yep. Early on in my VRChat career, and I had no idea those things existed. That was the first experience in terms of like clubs that specialize with things that I found. It's like, whoa, what? No, I need an adult.
That was a moment. The first time I saw like proper ERP shit happen in this game, I was like, whoa, this is a thing, huh? Well, I guess I better get an avatar with DPS, huh?
Lucky BadWolf did over there going, wait a minute, hold on, I'll be right back. I'll go get the cheerleading outfit and just sit there and cheer you on and go, yeah, that'd be fucking funny. That'd fuck up everybody. Can you imagine that bullshit going on? Somebody back there, you're the ERP and somebody's cheering you on. You're going, man, you're ruining my shit. Stop it. Sounds good to me. It sounds fun. I'm just having a good old time.
Well, the funny thing is
how that works sometimes.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. We definitely had moments, even myself, where I've gotten like righteously pissed off because I'm trying to like, enjoy time with my partners and have fun and everything, and some fuckhead is whispering memes into my ear, trying to like kill the mood intentionally. Well, like I'm trying to like do my thing, and like some guy walks up to me, he's like, "Free real estate," and I'm like, "Okay, I can't do this anymore."
Well, the funny thing you mentioned that reminds me of a memory back in high school. I hung out with a bunch of D&D nerds. 2 of them had girlfriends who played D&D as well. So we're all playing D&D, and 2 of them decided to go off into a bedroom and enjoy themselves. All the power to them. Well, with a bunch of D&D nerds who are easily amused by everything, we wander ourselves up to the outside the door, and all, 8 of us are scratching at the door, meowing like cats for the entire duration of their exercise activities, meowing at the door. and then we just hear them stop, and then my stupid ass goes, "Think of your grandparents naked." It's a good thing we're done lying. Yeah. Sorry, it just reminded me of that memory.
Yeah, weirdest, okay, funniest or most memorable things. I can give you a couple of them. One is meeting Num.
Mm.
Num is Num is one of my favorite people, like ever. I used to build sets specifically because if you ever get a chance, if you ever stop by a Sinful Sunday, like before the NSFW part and everything, or Demonic Monday before the after party and everything kicks off,
Mm.
just watch him. I'm telling you, it's the funniest shit on the planet. I used to build sets that would cater to him like randomly because whenever you play a Korn song or a Slipknot song or a System of a Down song, he loses his fucking mind. On the opposite end of that coin, whenever you play a Papa Roach song, he hates your guts and wants you to die, right? Because he can't stand Papa Roach, right? So what I used to do was I would wait until it was time to play like the Slipknot song. I'd press play and I'd watch, and I would just stand kind of off to the side and I'd watch. And what I'm waiting for is I'm waiting for Numb to notice that that song is playing, for him to sprint, like full sprint to the front of the venue and scream up at the stage that a Slipknot song is being played, and for him to do that like goofy ass like head bob dance that he does. But the first time that I met him, I played a Korn song. I didn't know who he was. I just happened to have a Korn song in my lineup.
Mm.
And he puts on his Korn gear. He's got like a Korn T-shirt and everything. And he just starts going ham, and we're like both drunk, like karaoke singing Korn together. That's one of my favorite moments that's ever happened in VRChat. That was at TJ's Tavern. Another one, I guess, would be so I've got two partners. I've got Akari, and then I've got Belle, who's Chaos Bunny. She does the booking and everything for Cannon Cove.
Mm.
Another one of my favorite memories was meeting her, definitely in VRChat, and kind of playing that whole cat mouse game of she doesn't want to be chased, but she doesn't kind of does, and you know what I mean. Like you play the old shit that I learned in like high school, like how to pursue somebody. That was a fun little like month or two exchange of finally getting her into my good graces, and now it's like she's one of my favorite people ever. Big one. I tell the story to everybody.
Mhm.
I'm a big fan. You just did Grizz recently. I'm a big fan of Grizz.
Mm.
I like Grizz a lot. Grizz is a cool dude, right? I've liked him for a long time for three reasons. One, he's older, and I like older dudes, especially in this game. Like, it's fun to talk to the older guys. Yeah, I'm talking about you.
Come back, Raptor. People like your age.
Oh God, help me!
Isn't Grizz like 2 years younger than you? He's like 52, isn't he?
Yeah, I
I
think
think
so.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, Chaotic is
Yeah,
like
I think
50.
he's 50.
Chaotic is like 51. So I mean, it's not like you guys are in short order.
Mm.
Just
But,
gotta watch the cook.
One, I like him because of his age. Two,
Mm.
I like him because he's got his main is a Nanachi, and I have a really big soft spot for Nanachis. Don't ask me why. It's an embarrassing thing. I can't help it. I melt when someone's wearing a Nanachi avatar. I just absolutely lose my fucking mind.
Mm.
Three, he's got that Boston thing going on.
Mm.
And so my favorite memory of Grizz, and you can ask anybody this. I've actually had other people like verify it to back me up. I've performed, so rewind like a year and a half, 2 years, whatever. I have performed in front of Grizz multiple times, like DJing in front of him multiple times.
Mhm.
And every time I DJ, so like the first time I DJ, I play my set, and he comes up to me, he's like, "Fucking Wolfie, that was fucking awesome, bro. Where you, how do I get you in the fucking club? Oh, bro, how does that happen?" I'm like, "Just ask me. I'd love to." "Okay, I'll talk to you fucking later. Don't even fucking worry about it." Right? Okay, cool. I don't hear from him for weeks, whatever. I don't hear from him. And then, so I play another show that I was opening for him.
Yep.
And after my set, he comes to me. He's like, "Fucking Wolfie, bro, I never heard you before. That was fucking awesome. Oh my god, have you ever played for Club O? How do I get you in Club O?" I'm like, just ask me. You already asked me this. You don't remember this? And I'm not shitting you. The next 3 or 4, like 5 or 6 times in a row, every time I would play and he was there, I asked. So like on the 5th or 6th time, there was another the guy that booked me. His name is Stay a While. I'm like, dude, go into the audience and stand next to Grizz. Tell me what he says. So I perform,
Mhm.
and Grizz messages me in all caps, like, dude, he's saying, "Oh my fucking god, who's this DJ? I love him. I never heard him before." He never remembers me.
All timers just sat in and fucking bit him in the ass. Holy Christ! And I thought I forgot shit. Holy fucking shit!
It became a meme. It became one of the funniest memes ever. Is that Grizz can never, like, as many times as I've sat down with Grizz, I've had conversations with Grizz. He never fucking remembers me. And every time I play, it's like he's never heard me. It's like he's never heard me before. Um,
I want to know what that boy's drinking. I want some. Holy shit! If you forget the next day, that'd be great. That'd get me
Yeah.
out of the pickle I'm in. Holy shit!
and then I'd say I played my fair. Oh, you know who else? You know, you're friends with Doc, right? Dr. Wolf from TJ's Tavern.
Yep.
Doc,
Mm-hmm.
I have to give. I have to give. Like I got to get serious for a minute.
Mhm.
Doc, I love him. He is such a genuinely like good, sweet person, and he for 2 years in a row now. Whenever he has his birthday party, he has his birthday party at TJ's, and Tina asks him, "Who do you want for your DJs?" His first answer is always BadWolfie. He wants me to. I played for his last 2 birthdays. I'm gonna play for his birthday next year. It's in July. Like he's already given me like a set list of songs that he wants for his next birthday party,
Mhm.
and like people like that are the reason why. Like people like that are the reason why you come to community, like to this world, to VRChat, because people like that genuinely make your experiences that much better. People
Mm.
that are just so friendly and they're so nice to you and they're just nice to everybody and they're just pleasant to be around. That's what you want.
Mm.
That's what I want. I don't want drama. I don't want fighting. I don't want gossip and bullshit. It's who wants that? And you see it. You see it all the time. You see it on Twitter. You see it on on the forums. You hear about it through word of mouth, like this one, that one, talking shit. Like, bro, I don't got time for this. This is a game, and the whole point of playing a game is to have fun. So if you're
Mm.
just getting off on like shit talking and toxicity and spreading fucking rumors and nonsense, what are you doing here? Why are you even here? Go away. Nobody
Mm.
wants you here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just it's like Bill and Ted. Be excellent to each other. That's it.
Mm.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah, I do agree 100% with you. There does seem to be a lot of people who get off on being assholes, and fuck them. Yeah. Not
Yeah,
literally,
I
but
agree.
Wait a
Fuck
minute.
them.
who cares?
Ryan, is this the same person I know that he's talking about?
Yes, the protogen that has the Joker get up over it. Yes, the
Okay, just want to
Doc.
make sure it's not this
Yeah, he's super
Doc.
into
Okay.
Doctor Who. He's super into Doctor Who and Batman and the Joker and
Yep.
Power Rangers.
Mm,
Yep. You know, I
yep,
remember
same one I
when
okay,
the
yeah.
Doc first introduced me to you for the specific interview we're doing now, and he told me all about his birthdays and how you play and how he's there at the front dancing and all about
He's
it.
just dancing. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I remember that. Doc is a very genuinely sweet person, and I'm glad I'm friends with him. He's an amazing person to sit
Yeah,
and
me
talk
too.
to.
Me too.
Hmm. Yep, that indeed. You are right. People like that are what make VR chat a pleasant place to be around. But at least with things like VR chat groups and making your own communities here, which is like end game content for VR chat, if you want to put it that way, is being in communities and making your own or being a part of someone else's, meeting those people you can call your friends, whether they're super pleasant or you want to be a bunch of dicks together. But that group of people whom you find pleasant to be around is what makes this platform worth being in.
Yes.
Mm.
100% agree.
Mm. Yep. Fun fact here, Raptor here is one of my oldest friends in VRChat, and I still come back for this old fuck.
Stay off the ditchweed. You'll be okay. You'll come around more often. Oh, he does. He does, folks. He does. It's what it amounts to is like what line says and stuff like this, not to say more than have to. I treat him like he's a brother to me, you know, a younger brother. That's the way I look at him, you know. We're on the opposite side of each situation and everything else like this, but we come in the middle. You find people like that in here. You know,
Absolutely.
you're not in here. You're not in here to, you know, if you're playing music, you're there to listen and what's going on, but you're in here to have fun and everything, meet new friends. You're not trying to say you're top dog. You're just trying to be another person having fun, shooting the shit, whatever you bump heads with, whatever you're into, you're into. And if you're open-minded, if you're goddamn open-minded, you'll go a long goddamn way. You're not here to pick fights. You're just here to have fun, and it's a game. We keep telling people it's just a game. It's VR. I tell people that every day. But when somebody like you, BadWolfie, is playing music and stuff like this, and I haven't heard you play yet. I haven't heard you play or anything like this, and I'll get my chance. You know, I try to tag line as best I can and everything else like this. I'm the kind of person, if your music's where it's supposed to, I'll come up and pat you on the back. You know, it's just one of those things. People like us, what makes your life worthwhile. And same with people that come and do interviews for us, it makes us worthwhile. Because that's the way it works. You know, it's not who's scratching whose butt or rubbing it on the carpet or what the deal is. It's the people you meet. And, you know, it's great. It's without you and the stuff you're doing, none of us would be here. If you logically look at it, we'd just be another people looking in the mirror and trying to go, wow, this is great.
Yeah, indeed. Without like DJs, community heads, club owners, VRChat wouldn't have nearly as much going on for it as it does. It'd be a bunch of people in a black hat surrounding a mirror playing memes. And that's pretty much all it'll ever be. But because of people like yourself and GrizzDog, for an example, running events, doing things because you for free. Like you can see all the stuff you guys do for free, and it's amazing that people like you exist. And I'm glad people like you do. So thank you for existing.
Yeah. I don't ask a nickel for what I do. I've had club owners like offer to pay me to play, and I'm like, what? I mean, sure, if you want to throw me a couple of bucks, I mean, I'm not gonna say no. Who doesn't want to? You know, thanks. You can buy me lunch for work tomorrow, or whatever. But that's never an expectation. Never. I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this because it is something I genuinely enjoy doing, and it's so much fun for me to do it. And it's so rewarding to me that club owners and bookers and guests, they think that of me, that they want me to perform at their venue. I couldn't be more humbled by that. Like I couldn't. It's impossible.
Yeah. You know, I remember a quote someone told me once, but if you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life. And if you do something for money, you're in it for the wrong reasons.
Yep. True fact.
I'm glad you exist.
Somebody asked me once.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. So somebody asked me once. It's like a pseudo interview, kind of like what sort of along the same lines as what you're doing now. But this was I was doing a set once, and somebody approached me, and she just sat down in front of me and started asking me questions. It wasn't being recorded. She didn't have her camera on, nothing like that. She was just genuinely just being curious and asking me questions. And she asked me, "Why do you do this?" And I said, "Why?" And she said, "Yeah." I turned around and I put my arm out to look behind me, and there's like 40 people behind me, vibing, dancing, having a good like that. That's why, because maybe my particular genre that I play isn't everybody's favorite flavor of ice cream, but I feel like I reach enough people to where they are genuinely enjoying themselves. And I get props while I'm playing. People come up and they spam the snowflakes and they spam the flames and they spam the money, throwing the money at you and stuff like that. That's really that my heart like explodes when that shit happens. That even if one person is genuinely enjoying what I'm doing, then I think that I'm doing the right thing.
Hmm. Wow. I'm glad you find that much
Very
joy
much so.
in what you do. And finding something like that in a pastime, I'm glad you have DJing and you have people to share with what you do. Thank you for doing what you do there, Wolfie. Mm.
I try.
Very.
Indeed. So, what do you wish to do in the coming future? Like, do you have any goals, anything you want to try, anything like that?
Yeah, I definitely have a couple of things on my bucket list.
Mm.
Um, one of them is to play at Furry.
Mm.
Um, but I've kind of put that on the back burner. It's so hard. It's so there's so much competition. Like it's you know what I mean. It's not. That's one of those like one day like if I win the lottery, like pipe dreams.
Mm.
I would love to make the connections that I need to make one day. I'd love to play at Shelter one day. If it was ever an option that was afforded to me. Problem is, I don't really know anybody over there. That's a whole other. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but there are like kind of two separate club scenes going on.
No.
There's like the mainstream scene, and then there's kind of like the underground scene,
Mm.
where you have so you have DJs, like 2TD or Iron Biscuit, who that these are people that Didi, Anubis, they're like super plugged into that as well. Like you have this whole other scene where this is a part of like my refusal to be egotistical about what I do. Like I don't consider myself a real DJ most of the time.
Mm.
I consider those guys to be like real DJs. The DJs that get to perform at like these top tier like underground clubs, those are like that's real talent. Those people are insane with what they are
Mm.
capable of accomplishing. And I would love to be just even once just be part of that world and be able to perform in front of people because when you go there's a different vibe when you go to like a mainstream event like a Canon Cove event or a DDVR event or something like that. The focus There is a focus on the music, but that's really not primarily what people come there for. People come there, they have the music on in the background, and they're socializing, they're talking, they're drinking, they're having fun. But like when if you ever go to like Shelter, you go down in the basement, and nobody says a fucking word. Everybody is facing forward, and they're all listening to the DJ, and they're all dancing, and they're drinking, and they're vibing. The primary focus at shit like that is the music, is the DJ, is the performance. The DJ and the VJ, visual jockey, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's a whole other atmosphere. It's a whole other like hierarchy that you have to go through. But man, is it rewarding, and it's a really fun time
Mm.
because that's where you go when you really want to focus on who's performing. You're not looking for social interactions. You're really just it's a bunch of people packed into this little room, this little shitty, dingy room, and they're all having a good time dancing to whoever's performing. You know what I mean?
Mm. I was unaware there were two different layers to the club scene. I always figured VRChat is the underground. I didn't know there's another layer underneath that. I had no idea.
That's how I would characterize it. Maybe
Mm.
people won't agree with me. That's possible, but I have always felt that way. That there is like so you have like your mainstream clubs that show up everywhere that everybody knows about, and then from there you have like this underground thing that it's hard to get into. It's hard to get into a Venice Shelter. It's hard because they're so popular, but nobody knows about them, right? So it's
Mm.
all through like word of mouth. You have to know somebody who knows somebody to get an invite. Um, uh, Iron Biscuit, someone she'll just do random pop-ups, and the only way that you can get to them is if you're part of. She'll just make a random Discord server and hold it. It's called event. The name of the event is event, and if you're in the crew, you get to come. If you're not, you got to find somebody who's in it and get in off of them. And there's no schedule. There's no nothing. I went to an event once where Iron Biscuit was hosting, and Ike was with me. Ike Wolf was with me, and Iron Biscuit comes up to me, and she's like, "I need a DJ to go on after this DJ." I'm like, I look around. I'm like, "What do you? Okay." She's like, you're going go out," and I'm like, "I'm not. No, like I'm terrified. I'm petrified. Right? Like no, I'm not doing it." She's like, "Fuck you. Get up." She bullied me into performing. And I did, and I was terrified, but goddamn, I had so much fun doing it. You know what I mean? It's that's a whole other part of this, and like it's amazing like how deep all of this can go. You know what I mean? Like I love being part of what I'm part of. I love being part of the mainstream stuff. A lot of people know who I am. That's fine. I like that. But you know, a lot of people want me to, you know, they'll ask me to play there. Absolutely, I'd be more than happy to. You know, even if it's a slow night, I don't give a shit. Put me up there. You know, I'm a whore. I like the attention. So
Well, so
what happens when you're an only child?
So what you're describing is kind of like you're going into like a club or a high-end restaurant, and then there's the main tables, and then there's the special table where you got to pay money to be at, and you get bottle service and stuff like that at kind of
Yeah,
thing.
or yeah, there's another restaurant like in the basement. You know, a special restaurant in the basement that nobody knows about. You got to be on a list to get into stuff like that, or you got to know somebody on the list, you know, to get into it.
You know, that does kind of that makes sense to me, because as you said, there are hierarchies. You know, I'm sure there are people who've been in this scene and doing what they do for so very long, mixed with people who are big on the outside of VRChat coming in as well. Like I've heard a lot of people we've interviewed mention Muzz, for an example. Sorry to pick on you, Muzz, but I hear of you a lot. But people like him come in, and I'm sure that adds like a I don't want to say a caste system, but it kind of from the outside kind of seems like there's the haves and then the have-nots kind of system to some degree. So
definitely.
To me it kind of makes sense there's two, but I didn't actually know it was like that. Or
Well,
seen.
I look at it like this. Okay, so like you use the phrase have and have nots. I agree with you, but I don't look at that as like a negative thing.
No,
Like,
I don't see it
I'm
as a negative
definitely
thing either. I'm not using it in a negative connotation. I just it's just how my brain is wording it at the moment. I don't see it as like they're the people who are and the people who are not, the good and the bad. I've heard a lot of people play and do their thing, and it's amazing to see everybody. I don't see it like that at all. I'm just kind of using that as a verbiage to describe. I don't mean it like that's how I feel about it.
No, and I totally get what you're saying. When you said that, I totally understood what you were saying, and I totally agree with it. So I'll give you an example. One day I'm performing for AU, Alcoholics Unanimous, and this is the thing. At the time, Scoot was running the bookings, Gouda Boss, and he reaches out to me one day, and he's like, "Hey, oh no, I applied to be a DJ at AU, right? This is back when they still did Wobble Wednesdays, and Scoot reaches out to me, and he's like, "Hey, listen, I got your application. I asked the owner. His name is Cruel. I asked the owner, hey, what about this guy, BadWolfie?" And Cruel responds in all caps, "Fuck yes, hire him."
Wow.
Like it hits you that this person who I've never met in my life knows who I am. And when I find out, when I have fans, and it's like I don't like that word. I don't like thinking that way about myself. I don't think that I'm worthy of fans, because I told you there's not an egotistical bone in my body. And when somebody comes up to me like, "Oh my god, I love your shit," people who know who I am, it's like, I ask anybody, I cannot take a compliment if you had held a gun to my head. I'll just tell you to shut up. Shut up.
Remind me to keep my mouth shut when I see him in action.
Or I'll just be like, "Thank you."
Fuck, man, you gotta play the lights backwards, and I want to understand it because I'm an old man.
Or my usual go-to is just thank you. But my point is that so I'm playing for AU one night, and I'm a mid-tempo DJ. If you don't not entirely familiar with the genre, a couple of big names in mid-tempo are like Rez, Ghost Data, Cyberself, Morris Black. There's a few other ones too that are really big ones. Death Pact is a big one. Um, but so I'm performing, and we're at Palace, not Palace. I'm sorry, we're at VRU. We're at Oasis, right?
Mm.
And we're in the main room. We're in the main room, which is that long corridor with the two balconies up on either side. And I look up, and in the VIP balcony, there's an avatar, and I recognize that avatar. Now, when I play VRChat, I have name tags turned off because it saves my frame rate, and it also adds to my immersion.
Yep.
I learn people more so from their avatars and their voices based off of what, as opposed to what name is floating above their heads.
Mm.
Um, so I look up and I see an avatar that I recognize, and I can't quite place it. So I turn name tags on, and it's Ghost Data, like the Ghost Data, who, if you look him up, super fucking popular musician, like content creator for big in the mid tempo scene.
Mm.
And I'm like, that can't be Ghost Data. Like, it can't be. Like, I know Ghost Data plays VRChat, but there's no fucking way that Ghost Data is standing up there right now. That's like, that's like you're playing basketball and like Shaq shows up and just takes a seat and
Mm.
just watches you play basketball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I asked the host, I'm like, is that Ghost Data? They're like, yeah, that's Ghost Data. While I'm playing a fucking Ghost Data song, and I see Ghost Data up there, and he's bobbing his head. He's enjoying, like that. I couldn't handle it. Like, I started freaking the fuck out. I'm like, oh my god, I have to. Oh my god, you know what I mean? Like, I freaked out. I freaked the fuck out. But he bounced. He's a busy guy and everything. But I couldn't believe, like, that little moment. Like, that was like a celebrity moment for me. Like, the
Mm.
person whose music that I have been enjoying for years now, that I'm actually playing right now, is up on the balcony listening to me perform their music. Like,
Mm.
that was a huge, like, that was like a huge moment for me in our chat. But shit like that happens, and you'd actually be surprised how many, like, producers and musicians, a lot of them play VRChat.
Mm.
Um, I'm pretty sure, like, Rez plays VRChat. I'm pretty sure Deadmau5 plays VRChat. I think Skrillex has popped his head in a few times into VRChat.
Yeah, I think Searle
Like,
does too, because he does have
yeah,
a set recorded in. That's recorded obviously in VRChat with VR dancers and stuff.
yeah. But that's a big thing, and I've bumped into a couple of people that are very very big names in the VR in the club community, like
Mm.
club owners and world creators and stuff like that. And I'm terrible at meeting people, especially big. Like, I get super starstruck.
Mm.
I can't do it. The first time I met Fetus, like, you know what Fetus Grinder is? I'm sure that name has popped
Uh,
up once or twice in your.
it should have once or twice, but I not sure I know enough about the person.
So he's a relatively popular DJ
Mm.
in our scene. He does a lot of metal. He's kind of like the go-to, like, he's our metal guy.
Mm.
Um, the first time that I met him, I knew who he was through word of mouth, and I had seen a couple of his sets prior. And I saw him at Virality in 2021. I want to say he performed at Virality, and he was performing at TJ's one night, and I was so starstruck that I had to bring a wingman with me to, like, force me to go up and talk to him because I was too
Mm.
afraid to go and just say hi to the fucking guy.
Mm.
Um, but I did. I eventually went up and talked to him, introduced myself, and then Fetus came to a few of my sets, and he gave me some props, and that was like that. Like, when you get props from someone that you idolize, there's like no better feeling in the world.
Mm. I can only imagine, man. And congratulations on that, by the way. Getting to see some of the people you idolize listen to your sets. So
Yeah.
congratulations, man.
Thank you.
I can only imagine how surreal it was in that
No
moment
doubt.
for you.
Yeah, that surreal is a good word for it. It's a very good word for it. Totally surreal.
Mm. You know, I have heard a lot of names have been popping in a VR chat. Like there are some friends of mine I've had talks with, like the same for now, mind you, when I say talks, it's the exact same thing we're doing here, except not on camera. Because off camera, I do the exact same thing, or I'll like drill people, and it kind of feels like an interrogation, but it's not that way. I'm just kind of
Yeah.
curious a lot of the time, and I enjoy listening to people enthusiastically talk. It's an enjoyment of mine, and I've heard a lot of people say like, "Oh, there's some people outside of VR that come in here all the time. It's a fun pastime, and it helps." Some of them use clubs and VR chat as means to get better at what they do, and others enjoy forgetting life. And I'm not surprised in that people of all sorts, whether you got no money or a lot of money and vice versa, come and enjoy VR because it's a different kind of experience. It's like you go out in the real world, and I can only clubs in real life are similar but different to VR, and it's not like you can go out in the real world and jump at a candy factory like Willy Wonka Wonderland bullshit.
Yeah.
But here you can.
Yeah, and there's definitely a element of like escapism that goes into this for me, anyways.
Hmm.
My life is fucking stressful. You know, it just is. You know, I work full time. I'm a dad. You know, I got bills. I got responsibilities. You know, shit sucks sometimes. You know, I'm
Hmm.
happy for the life that I live, but it's really nice to be able to just unplug. And you go into VR chat and you go into a place where like, hey, you know, for a few hours a night, I don't have to worry about, you know, where the rent's coming from, or you know, oh shit, I got to pay my electric bill, or well, you know what I mean. It's so nice to just decompress and be somewhere with your friends and people that you care about, and you just sit
Hmm.
and you hang out and you party or you watch a movie. Dude, movie nights are so awesome, especially this time of year. And during Halloween, you get your horror movie nights the whole month. You get your Christmas movie nights all the whole month. You know, and you just vibe, and it's such a great experience to just be around people that you like and to be around people that you care about, that you
Hmm.
genuinely enjoy having conversations with.
Hmm.
It's such a great feeling.
I very much agree. It's one of the reasons why I always end up coming back. Fun. I actually feel like kind of VR chat's replaced like entertainment as a whole. Like I have a TV I don't turn on. I rarely use any form of like movie services outside of VR chat. Like none whatsoever. If I want to be entertained, I'll talk with like Raptor or go watch YouTube videos with friends. And I think VR chat is that really good social media platform balance where you don't have an algorithm force feeding you garbage. Instead, it's
Yeah.
your own curation and where you go. And it's nice to have that, like, you got access to be able to talk with people from anywhere in the globe. But it's you who has to, like, go places and do things. It's nice to have that freedom attachment to the internet, but freedom from, like, being forcibly guided places. I hate that. I don't like social media for that reason, but here I am running a YouTube channel.
Yeah. Well,
Well, that's why I like
I
VRChat personally. It's like the happy medium between the two, where you could be whatever you want, an orange furry tangerine or whatever.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, on that subject, like me being, like I told you in the beginning, like I said, I was very, I didn't kind of go down the furry rabbit hole and probably until about 2015 ish.
Mm,
I'd imagine most people that I've spoken to, their experiences are relatively similar. Where you think of like, okay, how did you become a furry? Now, people that are my age, or maybe you know, I'm 36,
mm,
so people that are my age, or maybe people that are a little bit older or a little bit younger, that didn't quite have access to the internet like everybody has now, where you
mm,
kind of had to, everything was kind of on a delayed fuse. So for me, it was a very slow climb of one day I bumped into like some chat server. This was before Discord even existed. You know, I was bumped into some chat server. It was full of furries, and I started talking to them. I'm like, oh hey, you know, like, well, these guys are really nice. This is cool. You know, started chatting with them for months and months, and I'm like, well, I kind of like this. Maybe maybe I'll go half in.
mm,
So I picked I picked like I found like I was a big fan of Wolf Among Us, which is the what you call it oh shit, the Fables books
Mm.
with Big B Wolf was the sheriff of Fabletown,
Mm.
and that's the big bad wolf. But he's a lycan. He's a shapeshifter, right? He can go from human to wolf form like whenever he wants.
Mm.
And I kind of was like, I kind of like that. I like Big B smokes. I smoke. He's kind of a rough guy. I'm kind of a rough guy. You know, wolf personality, shit like that. I get that. And then like 3 months later, I'm like, you know what? Nah. So the story, the experience that I hear all the time is like a roller coaster. It's a really slow tick 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 tick, like up 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 up. You're learning, you're exposing yourself to these things. You're becoming more and more curious, more and more interested, and then you hit your peak, and then bam, swan dive. Like, yep, I'm a furry, and then you're just all in.
Mm.
And that's kind of what happened with me, where I liked being I'm like, okay, fine, Wolfie, right? But I needed a name. Like, okay, well, I can't just be Wolfie because Wolfie's that's taken everywhere. I need to put something in front of it. Like, well, got a little bad boy in me, I guess. Bad Wolfie,
Mm.
perfect. And that was about 2016, and it's been Bad Wolfie ever since.
Wow. So that's the whole origins of your name too. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Hmm. Wow. Well, that's cool to hear that that's how you got into it. I'm sure there are a lot of people who've been in from various ways. Like I didn't like go full in until I got into VRChat, although I knew furries and was good friends with furries like through high school and stuff. I just kind of VRChat ruined me.
Yeah. I did yeah, me too. Let me tell you. Um, I didn't know any furries IRL, none, zero.
Mm.
But so, and I was always, like I said before, I was very, very closeted about all of it because all the people that I was friends with, a lot of anti-furry sentiment, a lot of negativity,
Mm.
bad words that I'm not, you're on YouTube, so I'm not gonna say some of them, but just really nasty words that, it's like, bro, you don't even know any of them. What are you talking about? So I kind of had to play along with that. I didn't like it, but it's like I can't really. This is like my friend group, and if I kind of go against that, I'm gonna become a target. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So this is where I kind of delved into VRChat, and I will say this: about a month in, I determined that I wanted my own avatar. I wanted something that was mine that I owned. So I hop on Gumroad and I'm looking for, wolves. I want a wolf. And to be honest with you, the only wolves that I could find at the time is one of three. Well, yeah, one of two. It was either Legoshi from Beastars, and I'm like, I see that everywhere, and that's not really. I don't know. He's like too lanky. He's too skinny. It's not. Or it's like some super mega jacked fucking hyper fucking himbo wolf. I'm like, that's not me either. Like I'm not. That's not what I'm about either. So I find I find Julia Winterpaw's channel on Gumroad, and she at the time was the original canine avatar, not this one that I'm wearing, but the one that came before it. And I looked at it, I looked at the demo for it, and I kind of fell in love with it, like almost immediately. And
Mm.
I got to tell you this, we have what's called I know that like trans people experience it a lot. It's called like dysphoria, like body dysphoria,
Mm.
where they don't feel comfortable in their own skin.
Mm.
I definitely not that I felt uncomfortable in my own skin, but I will tell you this: that when I put my avatar on for the first time and I stood in front of a mirror, I started crying like almost immediately because it felt like this this feels this feels right. Like I know obviously I can never do this. I can never be this, and I'm not shilling out 5 grand for a goddamn fursuit. Fuck that.
Mm.
But just the relief that I felt almost immediately looking in the mirror wearing my Winterpaw avatar. Like this is who I am, and I haven't deviated from it since. I haven't deviated from it in 2.5 years. I'm wearing this one now. This is the 2.0, and whenever the 3.0 comes out, I'll be wearing that one. But like the Winterpaw Canine is like that's what I'm about. That's me. I feel
Mm.
so comfortable in this avatar that I like, and people like call me Wolfie, and it's like I feel so comfortable. Not that I don't mind. People can know my real name. I'm not worried about that. I don't give a shit about that. But like, I just this is the identity that I have taken, in this community, in this world, and I'm so happy that people, latch onto it and they like it,
Mm.
address me as such, and it feels really good.
Mm. Well, avatars do have that place in place of like what would be the Twitter equivalent of a profile picture. And it is a part of your identity here in VR to a huge degree. It's what people look at when they speak to you here. So
Yeah.
having I know there are a couple different types of people, the people who switch avatars, so the people who made one, and then the memers. Though I'm with you. I generally wear one to I usually stick with an avatar for a while, so I definitely can sympathize with like being an avatar you're comfortable in. I definitely can empathize and get all of that. Hmm. I just don't understand like the people who switch every 10 seconds. It's weird. I get out of the whatever I'm using at the time and it just doesn't feel right.
No, yeah, I have a couple of meme avatars, but nothing like just as jokes. I
Mm,
got like the SpongeBob, the janitor one of the guy mopping the floor in
mm,
SpongeBob. Like that one's funny. I have a couple of like PC like VR enthusiast avatars that are like these gigantic fucking fat guys with they're all sweaty and it's funny. It's all like they're all satire and jokes and everything. But as
mm,
far as main avatars go, yeah, you will almost never catch me outside of the winter paw. Like almost like 99 times out of 100, this is the avatar that I'm wearing.
mm. The one I'm wearing is one I've started using this year. Prior, I was a Nanachi. Actually, I've one of the things that when I first started diving full into the furry avatars and stuff, I actually come by one of Scottish Ripper's avatars, and I enjoyed the Foxy model so much. I actually got it from him, and that was the previous version of my avatar that most of my friend group knew me by before.
Yeah.
Mm, now I grew up. Now I'm using Foxo Golden Paws, Foxo Golden Odo blah words. I'm horrible with this. Golden Paws Foxo model blah brain.
There you go.
Hmm. My brain cells aren't working. Hmm.
I know
So,
that feeling.
hmm. Well, Fox. Well, there, Wolfie. Thank you very, very much for sharing your story with us, and I thank you for your time. There's a quote I use a lot of the
Sure.
time. I appreciate people's time more than anything because time is a currency you can only spend once. So thank you for your time.
I agree. I'm
You
so
know
happy to
it.
be here. Thank
Mm,
you so much for
I
having me.
appreciate it.
I've been really excited for this, and I had great questions, and I had a lot of fun.
so did
Um,
That's
same.
good.
I enjoyed
happy to
So did we.
I enjoyed your
happy to come
company.
back if you ever want me again.
You have an
Oh, yeah,
open
you're always
invite
welcome back.
whenever you wish.
Always.
Just reach out to us and we'll get you back on. Eee.
Okay.
Where can people find you if they wish to find you?
I'm VRChat. My name is BadWolfie. One word. WOLFIE. No spaces. Um, my Twitter. Hold on, I have to look it up. I always forget what it is. It's it's at DJ BadWolfie. So DJ BadWolfie, all one word. Again, Wolfie spelled WOLFIE. And then Discord, bad_Wolfie.
Mm. Okay. Well, everybody,
Mm-hmm.
thanks for joining us. And Raptor, why don't you close us out? I won't cut you off this time. It was a meme last
About
time.
goddamn time. Yeah, you shit. On that note, folks, no matter what you do in here in VR, it don't matter if you're a DJ or somebody that's like us that are completely got our screws loose. Come in here, have a blast with us. See Bad Wolfie, see the DJ, see the situations. And if that doesn't work, stand in front of a mirror. See how far that gets you. Take care, folks. We'll talk to you later. Bye.